All right. So, next question comes to us from another anonymous attendee. And the question is what are your views on cross functional versus temporary SME, as well as technical oriented team members versus business oriented team members within a Scrum team? Note temporary SME is also in line with a question above about Scrum team utilization. Okay. So let's just talk about the cross team versus temporary team SME. So here's how I'm interpreting cross-functional. Cross-functional is the ability for every single one of the developers to be able to form a useful increment. So I'm just going to say they're the doers, right? I've never liked developer as a official Scrum term for the doers, so I'm just going to call them doers for the sake of, getting rid of any kind of anything that is, yeah. So anyway, temporary SME is someone who might be an expert help to produce that increment. So for example, if you need a lot of database work on an increment, you have a database person that is going to be doing work on your team for that sprint, for a product backlog item, maybe for a couple of sprints or 3 sprints. Okay, that's okay, right? The way that I see a cross-functional team versus a temporary SME is by the increment, by the sprint. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that every sprint you have to have everybody that is going to be cross-functional, whether they're a SME or not, to be able to produce a useful and usable increment. Okay, so what that means is that you have to visit your definition of done during sprint planning and making sure that you can look at your product backlog items that you have pulled from the product backlog to make sure that everybody on the team can get it done. Okay, I do see one thing with this question that I want to address, and that is what the killer is of any kind of Scrum team, and that is dependencies. So what I try to coach teams to do during sprint planning is to manage their dependencies, identify them as quickly as possible, hopefully by sprint planning. And that way you can get the people that you need to help you work on the increment. Okay, so the way you can do that is to just make it transparent. That's the first key. Make that dependency transparent so that you can get those people involved in your sprint if possible. If not, it might be better just to push it back and to identify why you are not able to get the cross functionality on your team or to have a temporary SME. Okay, so again, I see them as really the same kind of goal. Okay, it just depends on what you're going to be doing in your sprint goal and how you're going to be utilizing that. Okay, so hope that answered the question. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.